In the buzz now at 9, some of us in the newsroom were caught off guard when we saw this next story on Good Morning America. It's a website that's basically the Craigslist, if you will, of breast milk. Here's the name, onlythebreast.com. It's an online clearinghouse where moms can buy and sell their breast milk for babies. The story on GMA introduced us to one woman who had an overabundance of breast milk for her baby and was now helping another family in need.
It definitely did seem weird to me, but I also knew that I was helping a family in need. Their child wasn't responding well to formula, so I figured if I was going to be able to help this child with breast milk, if their mother wasn't able to produce breast milk, then I might as well help them out.
Now at 9, did you have any idea that this was even going on, this online site? And what are your thoughts about it? Is this something that you would do for your child if you needed breast milk?
Wow, this is an interesting one.
Yeah, I knew about it. This is not news to me.
Right.
But then again, I'm a new mom. And while I might consider selling it if I had a lot to give, I would never, ever buy it. So I kind of have a double standard there because you don't know the background of these people. There's no regulation on this whatsoever. It's on the honor system. The mother could have HIV. She could have herpes. That could be contracted through the breast milk. She could just have poor diet or smoke or anything like that. And I would never take the risk of putting foreign stuff in my baby's mouth.
Well, Heather Lovins is chiming in here. She says, I think it's awesome. There are all kinds of moms with problems in nursing, and having the real, natural thing is great.
Kelsey Dunmeyer writes,
I've heard about this before, and I think it's a pretty neat idea. Would I use it for my kid? Maybe.
yeah, Jean Ripley says, I'd worry about the safety.
And Jay asks, isn't this wrong and another way transferring possibly unhealthy conditions like blood transfusions? Babies drink the milk. What happens to them in life down the road?
But the question is, for those mothers who don't have breast milk that lets down at the time of birth, and you really are diehard about breast milk, this is an alternative. Now, I get the safety factor. I totally understand that. But being a mother of twins, it was very difficult to have, enough milk to supply for both children. This was not something I ever thought about, ever. But the wet nurses were a possibility. I mean, those were things that you think about if you're a mother who really wants breast milk as your #1 source for your child.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult, again, because all the studies say that breast milk is so much more beneficial than formula. And I was just reading labels on formula at the store this weekend, and I'm thinking, are you kidding me?
Right.
I'm feeding my kid this? I don't even know what half this stuff is. It's all chemicals or whatever, all these words that you don't even know what they really are.
And over 40 of you commenting. Let's continue to read your comments.
Yeah, Lisa Darnell writes in, she says, when my grandmother was in her childbearing years, wet nurses were a normal thing, like we just discussed. She participated in that. I would have when my kids were little due to an overabundance of milk, but times have changed. This is not a new idea.
Yeah, Tracy Guthrie writes, breast milk is tested just like blood donations. It's a wonderful thing for moms who want breast milk for their infants and unfortunately are unable to produce it for themselves.
Well, but to be clear, this website that we're talking about is the honor system. It is not tested. There are companies that you can go through that will test it, and those are a little bit more expensive. But this one it's kind of like a Craigslist. All you do is post, I have breast milk, and someone else says, okay, I want it, and then you sell it to them. There's no regulation whatsoever.
But if this is an option for you, maybe going with one of those more stricter, groups out there that do test the breast milk, like the blood, might be a better alternative.
And that's what Jose Tirado is saying. As long as these mothers are properly tested, I don't see a problem. There's no point in crying over spilled breast milk, as they say.
Well, Adeline says, what's wrong with formula feeding? Studies show even if you only breastfed for 2 weeks, a newborn gets all the similar benefits. Buying someone else's breast milk is just creepy and gross.
There you go. And you got to think about, too, a lot of those websites that do scan it and will test it and make sure everything's copacetic. They can be up to $5 an ounce. You think about an ounce. I mean, my baby drinks probably like 15 ounces a day at least, and he's only 4 months old. Can you just imagine how much money I would be spending on that?
It's a lot of money,
it's
but
a lot
again,
of money.
But
some
you get
months.
peace of mind if you have it tested.
If you have it tested, yes.
That's for sure. All righty, continue to get your comments in. We'll try to squeeze some more in by the end of the